It was Friday, October 4th, and Kada's shift had just ended at an assisted living facility in Philadelphia. She called her sister earlier that day and seemed perfectly fine, just tired from work and ready for the weekend. But after leaving her job that evening, Kada vanished. When she didn't come home that night, her family immediately knew something was wrong. They described her as responsible, always checking in. It wasn't like her to disappear without a word. By the next morning, she was reported missing, and the search began. Flyers went up around the city, and friends took to social media begging for help. But there was one chilling detail that stood out in the early investigation. In the days leading up to her disappearance, Kada had been receiving harassing phone calls that frightened her enough to tell her friends about them. At the time, police didn't release who was behind those calls, but it wouldn't be long before a suspect emerged. Less than 2 weeks later, police arrested 21-year-old Keon King in connection with Kada's disappearance. King has been charged with murder, kidnapping, conspiracy, tampering with evidence, and other related offenses. Investigators believed he had abducted Kada after she left work that night, but they didn't yet know what had happened to her afterward. Then came the shocking twist. Authorities learned that King already had a prior record of violence. Earlier in the year, he'd been charged with kidnapping and strangulation in another case, but those charges were dropped when the alleged victim didn't appear in court. Prosecutors said they intended to refile those charges, but it was too late for Kada. On Saturday, October 18th, a full 14 days after Kada went missing, investigators acting on a tip searched a wooded area behind an abandoned school in Philadelphia. There, they made a horrifying discovery: human remains buried in a shallow grave. The body was later confirmed to be Kada Scott. Police said video surveillance from a nearby recreation center helped piece together what had happened. The footage showed a vehicle, one that investigators linked directly to King, near all the key locations connected to the case. That car had been reported stolen on October 3rd, just one day before Kada vanished. Even more disturbingly, the car was later found burned, and investigators allege King's phone was pinged at the site of the arson. According to Philadelphia Assistant District Attorney Ashley Toxilowski, that same vehicle was used to move Ms. Scott and then deliberately destroyed to hide the evidence. As a result, King is now facing additional charges, including arson, causing a catastrophe, conspiracy, unauthorized use of an automobile, tampering with evidence, recklessly endangering another person. The discovery of Kada's remains devastated her family and community. Philadelphia City Council member Anthony Phillips spoke out at a press conference saying, "Kada Scott mattered. Her life matters. She is being remembered for her kindness, her contagious joy, and her wonderful spirit." Phillips and other local leaders quickly began raising funds and collecting donations for Kada's family: toiletries, meal deliveries, and care items for her parents and her younger sister, who was still in high school and working to save for college. A GoFundMe that was initially set up to raise awareness about Kada's disappearance is now being used to help her family with expenses as they grieve this unimaginable loss. Despite their heartbreak, Kada's family has chosen to remain private during this time, asking for space as they mourn. But community members continue to honor her through vigils, donations, and calls for justice. Kada's story isn't just about one tragedy. It's about a pattern that keeps repeating. A young woman asks for help, reports harassment, or faces danger, and too often, the system fails to protect her in time. King had a violent past. Prosecutors say they plan to refile charges from a previous incident involving kidnapping and strangulation. But before that could happen, another woman was dead. Now, multiple women have come forward with their own stories about King, alleging similar behavior. Philadelphia residents are left asking, how many warnings were ignored? And how can we stop this from happening again? As of now, Keon King remains behind bars, facing multiple charges related to Kada's disappearance, but no murder charge has yet been filed. The Philadelphia District Attorney's Office has said the investigation is ongoing, and they are working carefully to gather the evidence needed to hold him fully accountable. Kada Scott was only 23 years old. She was a daughter, a sister, a friend, and a caregiver, someone who brought light into the lives of others. Her story reminds us how fragile safety can be. and how vital it is that communities look out for one another. If you or someone you know is being harassed, stalked, or threatened, please reach out for help. I'll include links to resources in the description below, because silence can be deadly, and every life like Kada's deserves to be protected.
Another case, another reminder. Be aware, be safe, and take care of each other. See you soon.